those of you who didn't know, yes, I am half ginger. So, surprise! Unsub. Just kidding, don't. But, today, I have, the Mind Seize Commander deck. It'll be the third one I think I've ever bought. So, yay. Good times, it's a good deck. But before that, I just want to quickly show off some cards I bought today. I might not read, like, the descriptions, but I'll show them off because I can only record half an hour at a time. So, and this is a 100-card deck. So, I bought a Thassa, God of the Sea, a Worn Power Stone, and that one's Elbrus the Binding Blade. It's an artifact that flips to become a demon. It's awesome. It's a 13/13. It's crazy. Darksteel Forge for the artifact love. Arena of the Ancients, because my roommate plays Zergo. Zergo. Gnome Smasher, I think it's called. Or Zerg. I can't remember. And I want to tap it. So, Millstone. Ornithopter. Simic Signet. Golgari Signet. Azoria Signet. Izzet Signet. Boros Signet. Gruul Signet. Celestia Signet. Orzhov Signet. Baron Moor. That's Cycle. Jester's Cap. It's kinda cool. Sacrifice it for 2 and a tap. Look through target player's library and remove any 3 of those cards from the game. Shuffle that library afterwards. And Wayfarer's Bauble. So, just some staple stuff, like nothing too crazy, but still some good stuff, some mana, or some land fixing type stuff. So, I'm gonna crack this open. I won't show the back because it's got like previews of the cards. So, while I open it, for those of you that don't know what Commander or EDH is, it's a singleton format. So, instead of the regular size deck that can have multiple copies of a card, it has 100 cards, no more, no less. And each card, oh, this thing's a pain. Sorry, it's kind of loud. And instead of having 3 or 4 of each card, you can only have 1, with the exception of basic lands. So, any basic land, you can have as many as you want. But, dual lands, shock lands, scry lands, anything else, you can only have 1 copy with the same name. And so you basically make a 99 card deck, and you have 1 card that's a legendary creature. That's your commander. When you're playing, you have all your monsters in the front, your lands at the bottom, then you have your like deck and your library or your graveyard. The commander goes up in your like top left, and that card, it's color identity. So any color of mana on the card, whether it be here or in here, are the only colors you can play in your deck. So if you have a card, like say you were playing a mono red, or say you were playing this deck here, and you wanted to put Boros Signet in it, you can't, because it's got a white in the description. There's some exceptions, like rule text and stuff, like I can't remember what the one thing is, but it says you can either pay with white or black, but it's in brackets. That doesn't count. So each player has 40 life, and it's basically just a way to play all the fun stuff, the stuff that you can't normally play in a quick game with 60 cards. So this deck comes with 3 of the big legendary creatures. And they have jumbo cards that are always really warped and bent. Just crap. Who cares? Whatever. Then it comes with like this little deck box here. So like it's not bad. Like, they've had better, they've had worse. Then it's got like the rule stuff, whatever. Garbage. And then it's got your 100 card deck. So it's a big deck. Like they're large. When they're sleeved, they're like that. And you have to shuffle in like 2 parts. But yeah. So anyways, your commander sits up in the top left. You can play it at any time that you can afford it. But if it dies or is exiled or anything, it goes back up to the command zone. Then it adds 2 more colorless. So you have to pay an extra 2 every additional time you want to play it. With the exception of 1 card, of course, which is Derevi, because its effect is pay, I think it's 1 blue, white, green. So 4 to play it from the command zone. So there's always exceptions. So I'm going to open this and get started because I've already wasted almost 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to go 1 card at a time. So this is Jaleva Nephalia Scourge. It has flying. When it enters the battlefield, each player exiles the top X cards of his or her library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast it. Whenever she attacks, you may cast an instant or sorcery card exiled with it, without paying its mana cost. So, she's really fun. Augur of Bolas. When Augur of Bolas enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And I apologize, I still haven't got another tripod. It'll be a while, so you guys will have to hopefully enjoy this. Fog Bank, Defender and Flying, and prevent all combat damage that is dealt to it. So, it's a pretty fun card. It's it's just a stopper. Oh yeah, I should read its little description here. The union of sea and sky makes a perfect cover. Nightscape Familiar. Blue and red spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast, and pay 1 colorless and a black to regenerate it. Nightscape Masters don't stop at raising the spirit of a fallen battle mage. They raise the flesh along with it. So in Commander, see how it doesn't say all blue and black as in, or blue and red spells in, their symbol. It actually has the word, this is allowed. So if you had a mono black deck, you could play this, or blue-black, a Dimir deck, because it doesn't actually have the color symbol, so you can actually play this card. And one of the really good cards in this deck, Baleful Strix. It's a 1/1 for 2, but has flying and death touch, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So that's just pure awesomeness. Its beak rends flesh and bone, exposing the tender marrow of dream. Nivix Guild Mage. I have to read really fast. For 3, 1 white, draw a card, then discard a card. And for 4, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. The only action worth taking is one with an unknown outcome. So there it is. Guard Gomazoa has Defender and Flying. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it. It lingers near the outposts of the McKindy trenches, inadvertently granting another layer of defense. Gutter Snipe. We all know and love Gutter Snipe. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell. Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. He wants to watch Ravnica burn, 1 soul at a time. Echo Mage. So he has level up for 1 and a blue. At level 2 and 3, for 2 and a tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets. And for the same thing, but at level 4, copy it twice and choose 2 new targets. So there you go. You guys can look at the card. I won't be able to read a whole ton because, yeah. Jesus, Archivist. For a blue and tap, each player discards his or her hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way. This is a sacred duty. Master Bellerin's trust has bought an eternity of my loyalty. So, there you go. That's a rare. One of the other really cool cards in this deck, True Name Nemesis. When it enters the battlefield, choose a player. It has protection from that player. Yeah, it's a pretty good card. It's a 3/1 for 3. And I actually just like those two together. They're just kind of cool. Just like how the cards are. Vampire Nighthawk, Flying, Death Touch, Lifelink for 3. Pretty sweet card usually. Viceling. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, it deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of cards in his or her hand, -4. So. Terra Ravager. When it attacks, it gets +X +0 until the end of turn, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. It lives in the mountaintops, feeds at the mountain's feet, and kills anything it finds on the path between. Diviner Spirit. When it deals combat damage to a player, you and that player draw that many cards. Sentience is its natural habitat. I'm thirsty today. I'm still recovering. I'm not even close yet, but I had blood work done and stuff yesterday, so hopefully it goes well. Mnemonic Wall, Defender. When it enters the battlefield, you may return a target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. I'd build an entire fortress of them if I could. There you go. Hooded Horror. It can't be blocked if the defending player controls the most creatures or is tied for the most. Insidious Fear can be the undoing of the greatest armies. Nekuzar the Mind Razor, one of the mythic legendary creatures here. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. When an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player, so 2 damage a turn at least. His enemies wondered if the Lich King's brutal death and unnatural rebirth had been his plan all along. Charmbreaker Devils. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast one, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4 +0 until the end of turn. Uyo Silent Prophet. Flying, and for 2, return 2 lands you control to the owner's hand. Copy an instant or sorcery, and choose a new copy for it, or target for it. Thraximundar. Really awesome card here. It's one of the other legendaries. He has haste, and whenever he attacks, the defending player sacrifices a creature. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. His name means he who paints the earth red. Baleful Force. At the beginning of your upkeep, of each upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. As with any malevolent being, the trick is knowing how long you can afford to keep it in your service. So every turn, if you're playing 4 players, you draw a card each turn. And Soul Ring. Tap to add 2 colorless, and it costs 1. It's an amazing card. It's just great. Wayfarer's Bauble. Sacrifice it to search for a basic land, put it on the field tapped. Then shuffle your deck, yeah. Armillary Sphere. Pay 2 and tap it to sacrifice it. Search your library for 2 basic lands, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Swiftfoot Boots. Has hexproof and haste. Obelisk of Grixis. Tap for a blue, black, or red. Temple Bell. Tap it. Each player draws a card. Because you want people to draw a lot when you have Nekuzar out. So. Eye of Doom. When it enters the battlefield, each player chooses a non-land permanent and puts a Doom counter on it. Pay 2 and sacrifice it. Destroy each permanent with the Doom counter on it. Mirari. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, pay 3. If you do, copy it and choose new targets. It offers you what you want, not what you need. Curse of Inertia. Enchant a player. Whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, that attacking player may tap or untap permanents of his or her choice. As long as I pull the strings, you will dance. Propaganda. Creatures can't attack unless their controller pays 2 colorless for each creature he or she controls that's attacking you. The cost of your opposition will be extracted from your wits. Curse of Shallow Graves. Another enchant player. Whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, that attacking player may put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. So, it's kind of cool. Curse of Chaos. The last curse. Whenever a player attacks enchanted player with 1 or more creatures, that attacking player may discard a card. If the player does, he or she draws a card. Spiteful Visions. At the beginning of each player's draw step, they draw an additional card. Whenever a player draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. Knowledge brings the sting of disillusionment, but the pain teaches perspective. So, it has the same effect as Nekuzar. So, it can just deal double if you have them both out. Arcane Melee. Instant and sorceries cost 2 less to play. Debates between wizards are never purely academic. Price of Knowledge. Players have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, this deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. Vision Skeins or Skeins. Each player draws 2 cards. I could see in the other mage's eyes that he'd thought of it too. Then it became a race to exploit the knowledge first. Soul manipulation. Choose one or both. Counter target creature spell and or return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Birth and death are both reversible. Nicol Bolas. Gross's Charm. Choose one. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Or destroy target non-black creature and it can't be regenerated. Or destroy target artifact. A pretty bauble of persecution. Grixis Charm. Choose one. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Or target creature gets -4/-4 for the turn. Or creatures you control get +2/+0 for the turn. So many choices. Shall I choose loathing, hate, or malice today? Sudden spoiling. Split second, which means it can't be countered. Creatures target player controls become 0/2 and lose all abilities until the end of turn. Yep, it's pretty sweet. Well, it's more than, like, it's different than just can't be countered. It's got like a rules text here in the brackets, so you guys can read that if you want. Dismiss. Counter target spell. Draw a card. There is nothing you can do that I cannot simply deny. Illusionist's Gambit. Cast it only during the declare blocker's step in an opponent's turn. Remove all attacking creatures from combat and untap them. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Each of those creatures attacks that combat if able. They can't attack you or a planeswalker you control that combat. So it basically redirects all the attacking creatures to someone else if you play 4-player or whatever. Wild Ricochet. It just, you choose new targets for target instant or sorcery spell, then copy it and choose another one. May your day never match your expectations. Annihilate. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Draw a card. Whatever Yawgmoth marks dies. There is no escape. Opportunity. Target player draws 4 cards. Usually it's yourself. Opportunity isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. Starstorm. Deals X damage to each creature. And it has cycling for 3. So you discard it and draw a card. Ever since the disaster, the city's survivors viewed the star-strewn sky with dread. Strategic planning. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Plans evolved within the tent to decide a victory of 1,000 li away. Infest. All creatures get -2/-2 for the turn. This is why we don't go out in Bane Wasp weather. So, good for killing tokens. Tempt with reflections. Tempting offer. Choose target creature you control. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of it. Each opponent may put a copy of that creature as well. Yeah, but each opponent who does, you get an extra copy. I have to read fast now. I have 6 minutes and that many cards, so. Fissure Vent. Choose one or both. Destroy target artifact and or target non-basic land. Something down there has an appetite for what we're standing on. Let's hope it doesn't want seconds. Incendiary Command. Actually, I'll just pause it and you guys can read it, because I'm not going to have enough time. It's a really good card. This is one of my favorites, just because it's awesome. You suspend it, and then it destroys a creature, and the player who had the creature can lose his life equal to its power and toughness. Cruel Ultimatum. It's really cool. Decree of Pain. There's so many fun cards in this deck, like this one. Put 13 2/2 zombies on the field. And you can flashback it. Army of the Damned. Prosperity. Each player draws X cards. Skyscribing. Molten Disaster. Akum Refuge. It's a land. Bajuka Bog. Really good land to have in any black deck. Command Tower is an EDH specific card because you have to have a commander to be able to use it. Crumbling Necropolis. Dimir Gilgate. Evolving Wilds. Classic card. Grixis Panorama. Is it Boilworks? Is it Guildgate? Molten Slag Heap. Opal Palace. Rakdos Carnarium. Rakdos Guildgate. Rupture Spire. Temple of the False Gods, which is really cool. Adds 2 colorless, but only if you have 5 lands. This counts as 1, so you only need 4 others. Urza's Factory. Vivid Creek. And Vivid Marsh. Then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 islands. I'm glad they have different art. They're not all the same. That's awesome. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 swamps. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mountains. So, there you go, guys. That's this deck. This deck, for a while here, anyways, skyrocketed. I think it went up to like $70 or something. It went like way down now again, but it came out at $30. I bought 2 of them because I knew they were gonna go up. The one card, True Name Nemesis, I think went up to like $35 here or something. So I scooped them up, got my money back, and had the extra cards, and then bought some other cards with them. So I do have the Derevi deck, the commander deck, I will be opening, and some other stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. I'm really appreciating the support you guys are giving. It's so awesome. Glad to have feedback. Share the videos. Show your friends. If anyone's having trouble sleeping, hopefully this can help. Happy tingles, guys. See ya.